Welcome to this conversation on the intriguing intersection of artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence in leadership. Today, Giovanni and I are sinking our teeth into this question, and we invite you to pull your chair up close and begin to think through, can artificial intelligence truly enhance a human being's emotional intelligence? Or is emotional intelligence the kind of realm that only we human beings get to traffic in, and that really being emotionally intelligent is beyond artificial intelligence? Gio, good morning, my friend. Thank you for being my partner in this conversation and the co-founder of the Daily Huddle. So what are your beginning thoughts on this subject?
Good morning, Saurel. I love this subject. Good morning, Tara and Chase and Rashida and Virtue. Thank you for being here, right? And all of you who watch this a little bit later, thank you for stopping by. This is a topic that I really like. It's this because there's this big conversation in the world around emotional intelligence, how to give people access to being understand their emotions so they don't react. And in companies and in teams, that's a big issue. People reacting, leaders have that constant challenge of how not to react emotionally to what's going on. And all of that stuff, they call it emotional intelligence. And then there's this big trend around artificial intelligence and how it's helping our processes become a lot more effective, is helping companies reduce the number of staff, given that the emotionally intelligent program allows for a lot of work to be done by one person only. So, but I think there is this idea in some degree that the evolution of the artificial intelligence, Sorrel,
Mm-hmm.
this aspect of its growth of artificial intelligence somehow will also impact the emotional intelligence of a person, the ability for them to have better soft skills, if you will, or be better communicators. Somehow it seems like at some point they're going to intertwine. And I say, and I'll make the case that highly unlikely, probably never, is just wishful thinking. So I'm going to give you maybe my case for it, and then we shall see, Sora.
Yeah, the best I can say at this time, Gio, is I don't know. And if we look for a moment and begin to loosely define artificial intelligence, you could say that artificial intelligence, given its capacity to analyze vast amount of data in a very short period of time, does, as you were saying, give us human beings the capability to offload, so to speak, some tasks to artificial intelligence, which leaves me, you, others as leaders with more time to dedicate to being with people. So you could say in an indirect way that maybe the advent of artificial intelligence begin to give us human beings the space to be less busy so that we can focus more on what we as people can do, which is increase our emotional intelligence. So while AI can support the aspect of emotional intelligence that way by providing us information, I think I'm aligning with you to say that being emotionally intelligent is the realm of being human. Being artificially intelligent is the realm of artificial intelligence. And what I mean by that is if you take all the information in the world and you create a huge amount of computing capacity and you feed a machine, a computer, through learning, repetitive learning, the ability to actually see patterns really fast and make decisions based on those patterns, you end up with the capability of supporting processes, decision making in a binary world faster, more accurate than perhaps a human being could. But that's the realm of doing, calculating. not necessarily the realm of understanding, being empathetic, and seeing another human being and connecting with another human being. So yes, I agree. AI can enhance our productivity, but maybe at this time, it cannot enhance our emotional intelligence.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So I wanna do a game with you, Saurel.
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how do I become an emotionally intelligent leader? And let's see if that gives me any access to it. And what do I mean by that? You want to do that?
Let's do that.
Okay, cool. So this is ChatGPT, and it is a phenomenal tool if people are not using it. It is a phenomenal tool. Now, like you say, Sorrel, even though this is going to give me a letter on how to get a girlfriend, it's not going to give me access to be able to keep the girlfriend. It won't do it. It's a different realm, right? So how do I become an emotionally intelligent leader, right? Could not authenticate token. I don't know what that even means.
Oh, regenerate. Click that
Regenerate.
button down there and see.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay. How do I become an emotionally intelligent leader? Okay. So this is the a well thought out possibility, right? Now this is definitely giving some real thought into this. Well done, ChatGPT. Now the question is going, well done, right? So now the question is, I'm gonna fastly read through this, right? The question that I want you to ask yourself, like I am doing right now, is would this give me any access to it? Would I live after reading this becoming a more emotional, intelligent human being? So let's say becoming an emotionally intelligent leader involves developing self-awareness, managing your emotions effectively, understanding the emotions of others, and fostering positive relationships. Here are some practical steps to enhance your emotionally intelligent leader. So this is about understanding. Would that give me access to it? Not really. I already knew that. My own brain already knew that. So no access to it. Okay, but let's go through the steps anyway. Self-awareness. Reflect on your emotions and how they influence your behavior and decision making. Yeah, I'm kind of impatient. I already knew that. You see, I already knew I am impatient. Let me reflect on that. Yes, I'm impatient. Seek feedback from others to gain insights on how your emotions impact your leadership style. Keep a journal and track your emotional responses in various situations. Really useful. Now, the question I want to ask myself, is this something I never knew? No, not really. Have I ever gotten feedback from another person about my leadership style? Yes, every other day that people tell me, hey, you're being this way. Hey, you're being, hey, I don't want to play with you anymore. I'm taking my marbles. And so throughout my life, I've been taking my marbles away. People have been taking their marbles away. What I mean by that is they don't want to play with me anymore. So although the meaning and the possibility that self-awareness is here in this paragraph, it's useful, it doesn't leave people, you and I, with the access to being someone who's self-aware. It requires something else. So I'm gonna read another one, Saurel, and then we can probably go from there.
Read the one on empathy. You know,
Let's read.
this one, I think, gets to the heart of the matter we're addressing this morning. So empathy, you want to become more empathetic, Jill?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you how to do that, right?
Okay, thank you.
And you're going to understand it like nobody ever has. See, to be empathetic, Jill, you should listen actively to others and try to understand their perspective without judgment. Put yourself in others' shoes to better comprehend their emotions and experiences. Show genuine interest in your team members' well-being and concerns. Well, that's all well and good. You actually do that, didn't you?
Well, now I am empathetic, you see, because now I understand it. I just had no idea that being empathetic was to understand somebody else's perspective and have no judgment. This is new information for me, Saurel. So from this point forward, you can count on me to not go around life judging people. So I'm being facetious in some degree. I'm trying to be funny in some degree. And maybe for some of you, it's kind of confronting. Gio, you're being way too sarcastic for my liking. But I'm not trying to do that. I'm really trying to create this point, if you will, that, like Saurel was saying, let's see. Right. Thank you, Dr. Davis. So let's see. Okay, Gio, what was missing for you is understanding what empathy is. And that's why you are struggling in your leadership. So let me just read it for you. This is very simple, Gio. Just actively listen to others and try to understand their perspective without judgment. There.
Boom.
Now you go on in life. You are empathetic, emotionally intelligent leader. And Tara would tell you, and anyone else in this field, understanding something doesn't give you access to being that. Understanding empathy does not give you access to being empathetic. And that's the challenge that some of us have in our work environment when we're looking at creating high-performing teams. When we're looking at creating a culture where people love what they do and they own the future of a company or the future of a vision. That giving more people understanding materials doesn't leave them with elevating their capacity to lead others. Not really. So that's what I wanted to create, Saurel, as we start this conversation. What are your thoughts, Saurel?
Yeah, I'm thinking as you're speaking and going, wow, to be a human being is to think that knowing something and understanding something actually gives me access to that something. So you and I and the people we work with can't escape being human beings. And to be a human being, I also assert, you, is to be addicted to knowing and understanding. So I'm always seeking more information. I'm always seeking more understanding. I'm always seeking the validation of others, trying to find out what their opinions are on the matter. And then the more people have the same opinion, the more I'm validated. So none of that, however, gives me access to being emotionally intelligent. What it does, it either keeps me in a space where I'm making myself wrong for being a jerk or validating myself for being one, because so many other people are just the same way. So I'm with you on the fact that knowing and understanding what being emotionally intelligent is, or even having a set of steps to take, execute, workbook to go through, will not make me emotionally intelligent. So now, as you're saying that, the question that comes to mind, Gio, is if you took a moment now to create with me and for everyone else, what is emotional intelligence and what makes it so elusive for a machine that has access to all the knowledge in the world? What is emotional intelligence?
Well, we can define what emotional intelligence is, Saurel, which is in some degree the ChatGPT gave us access to it, right? Which is involves developing self-awareness, managing one's emotions effectively, understanding the emotions of others, and fostering positive relationships, right? So this is what emotional intelligence is. There is defining it, Saurel. Now, well, how do I become a more intelligent, emotionally intelligent human being? How do I get access to my what I react to. Why is it that I understand that fostering relationship is a positive phenomena in the work environment? Why is it that my brain doesn't do it even though I understand it? So I
Mm.
think we can leave a small seed, Saurel, on what it is that people in our field are able to do to a leadership team, to a management team, to an organization to elevate people's emotional intelligence so that they can create a better work environment, get better results, make more money, save more money, right? Because that's probably the question that some people have been asking. Okay, I got it. More information is not going to make me more emotionally intelligent, but so how do I become emotionally intelligent? So I'm going to create some context around, then unless you want to go ahead and start.
Then we dance. Go ahead and create the context.
Yes. So one of the aspects that we create in an environment, and the people in our field does, is that we create an environment for people to do what we call it being in wonder, or another way of saying it, we call it being in wonder, like to disabuse themselves of what they already know to be true and valid, just kind of put it on the side, and now allow themselves to just be in wonder, to be in the inquiry of what could be in the way of being someone who's empathetic, for example, of exercising that. And then they'll start going like, well, I don't know. Well, of course it's a challenge because now we're being in the inquiry of that. But that begins to disabuse people's neuroassociation to what they always do. They have to do every time. They start creating new neural pathways, if you will, or they start creating new ways of looking at thinking the possibility of being empathetic. Now, they start discovering, Saurel, in this conversation, what's been holding them up. It could be something that happened in the past, or it could be a threat of maybe losing authority in the moment. This different variables that have someone not be empathetic. However, it's in my experience, it's only been in an environment of reflection, of inquiry, that people have access to the possibility of being empathetic, as we use empathy as an example. Anything you want to add, Sorrel?
Yeah, I'm discovering in what you're creating, Giovanni, that maybe even the definition that ChatGPT created earlier isn't what it is to be emotionally intelligent. So I'm seeing that what ChatGPT provided are probably what it looks like when I'm observing an other human being practicing being emotionally intelligent. So there's a difference between what the practice looks like and the being that's actually giving the practice. And right now I'm finding it difficult, if not impossible, to actually say what emotional intelligence is. So I'll say it wrong, right? So to be emotionally intelligent is for me to be a human being concerned for being empathetic with you. And yet I don't know how to be empathetic because we're in a real conversation. So my empathy for you, for what you're dealing with, is being generated in the moment. And only a human being with a concern, an intention, a particular goal in that relationship can move to create being empathetic when every variable that I need to be empathetic with is changing in the moment based on what you say, based on your facial expression, based on your vocal intonations. I'm like, yeah, right? So to be emotionally intelligent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I like that you create this context of the now, right now, right?
Yeah.
Not more understanding, right? So, for example, as you're speaking, I thought, okay, let me have you speak while I cross my arms and do this. Now it
You know what happened,
forces
Gio?
you to be empathetic. So now be it.
So, Gio, I noticed you just crossed your arms. What's going on?
So I'm thinking, well, what do I say? Do I continue to be defensive, or do I unfold my arms, right? So I'm going to just continue to be defensive, okay, Saurel?
And I
This
can't,
conversation is not going anywhere.
even though we're role playing, Gio,
Yeah.
as a human being, I can't escape being impacted by this in the front
Mm-hmm.
of your face, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me right now, being emotionally intelligent looks like me dealing with your expression in a way that leaves me empowered for myself and speaking to you in a way that doesn't invalidate whatever it is you're dealing with. So perhaps questions give human beings access to being emotionally intelligent in a moment.
Saurel, questions and also training.
Mm-hmm.
Questions and training, because one of the things that I was present as you were speaking, Saurel, is that it requires a particular training with another human being, not from reading it necessarily from a book, a particular training with another human being to have people practice being okay with somebody folding their arms, somebody frowning, and discovering, well, what am I making that mean? Because what impacts somebody's emotion is that automatic meaning of things. So if you fold your arms, Sorrel, go ahead and fold your arms. Just go ahead and do that. Right? My brain goes, well, what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean anything. However, if I'm not conscious of that, he might say, Sorrel is not interested in me, or Sorrel finds me boring. And then I find myself reacting to that, no emotional intelligence at that point. Then since I react to that, then I say, okay, well, since you're not interested, let's not talk anymore.
Fine, we're done.
Fine. And then whatever possibility was in our relationship is gone. So thank you, Sorrel, for dancing in this conversation. We have
Chase, come on up.
raising his hand. Chase, come off camera so we can add you to the YouTube experience, if you don't mind.
Oh, I can't be on camera right now because I'm involved in something. I just popped over just to say this really quick because I was listening from afar. I apologize.
No problem. Thank you,
I,
Chase.
what I want to say is when we speak about artificial intelligence versus emotional intelligence, what I find more than anything is that we get most of our information from being on the field. When we don't feel things from being in action, then we can't really master them and we get caught in our, as my dad would say, the mind has everything in it. The hard drive is there from every experience you've ever had in your life. And if there's too many receptors that are holding on to things such as your arms being crossed. Maybe your mom did that when you were younger. Now, the rest of your life, whenever someone does that, you have a block, right? As it relates to artificial, when I hear the word artificial, that's never been a powerful word for me. So, artificial intelligence, well, intelligence is a strong word for me. So, when we put them together and then try to bridge that with emotional, which we know emotions come from being in motion. You can't understand that unless you're in motion, right? When I'm teaching someone about singing, I have them hold the microphone in the lesson because what happens when I put you on the stage and all of a sudden this is a distraction for you now? You see what I mean? You are in the motion of what's going on. And I truly believe that when you put that information into the chat GPT and all of that came back, all of a sudden, every piece of that has to be lived, and it has to be lived in a sense without a filter, like in a sense of newness. Like, let me do this right now, right?
What I have found, Chase, is that it has to be lived, but to give another access to emotional intelligence, another person gives that other person access
Right.
to
Right.
the field that you're pointing to. So for
And
example, when you say, I have people hold the microphone,
right.
at that point, that person became emotionally intelligent about being on stage.
Right.
But then that person tells you, well, here's how I feel about holding a microphone.
Right.
And at that moment, you have the chance to give them access to a new realm about holding the microphone. If that, because you're there with that person, that at that moment gives that person access to the possibility of being emotionally intelligent on a stage.
Correct, but it really doesn't really happen until they get on the stage. That's my point. You could do it in a room all day for hours, but when you hit that stage, that's when it happens, because all these other things happen then, right? The lights, the people, the sounds,
New variables are available. And I don't want to not say this though. Practicing imagining sufficient times being on stage holding the microphone does help for the possibility of effectiveness. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But thank you. Yeah, thank you for bringing that on, Chase. It's really, really great. Anything you want to add, Chase?
Oh, in closing, I just wanted to say that I give one of the greatest examples I see of emotional intelligence, or a person that opened up people's minds, is this guy, Coach Prime. When he stepped into his vehicle and got out there and did what he did, I think it opened up other people. It gave them access to be like, wow, I could be powerful like that. Or maybe I'm emotional looking at this guy. This is amazing. It made some people really angry, and it made some people go, wow, look at what he does. So the example of emotional intelligence from one person to another person is also a catalyst or linchpin in forward motion. That's why I study people that are at that level, because it excites my emotional intelligence. It feels like something. I want to touch it. I want to feel it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chase. Thank you, Chase.
Thank you, Chase. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, y'all. So, something that I find very challenging in my personal life, I'm told I'm very empathetic. However, as an analyst, when I was working with numbers and statistics, and I would be in meetings and I know the answer, I know, how this is going to impact, this behavior is going to impact these numbers in that way, because historically it impacts these numbers this way. And I try to communicate it and I get pushback. And so I try to explain it a different way. And, I'm so caught up in, I know the right answer. I'm just not explaining it so that they can understand it, that people just don't want to talk to me because I'm not listening to them, because I'm not being empathetic to their side. So that's the struggle for me. I'm working with hard facts, black and white, but they want me to live in gray.
It's beautiful.
So that's always been a struggle with, being in the workplace for me.
That's beautiful, Michelle. Thank you for bringing that example. It's a brilliant example of how to close the gap of something that is so black and white and bringing the gray aspect of emotions, right? So unfortunately, time is gone at the Daily Huddle when the best questions show up usually. So, but I am going to just kind of leave a seed on something you just pointed to, Michelle, and then maybe we can pick it up later, Saurel. And here's
go ahead and do that, then I'll close.
Yes, and here's the seed, Michelle, that we do in our practice, and it does take a back and forth. It does take an inquiry, right? Being in an inquiry, which is to ask that person, well, how does these numbers occur to you? How do they occur to you? Do they occur to you as if you are failing at something? And how are you seeing the hard aspect of the numbers, this black and white. How do you see them so that you as the analyst or somebody else who's supporting them, they can see their relationship to those results? Because what they're reacting to is not the numbers themselves, is the relationship they have to the results, if you will. I'm failing. I'm not doing right. I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing it wrong. And that's how we kind of sort of begin to create this context for emotional intelligence in a hard fact kind of world. So that's what I wanted to add, Saurel. And I know time's running fast.
Time flies. You know, one thing that as a human being, Gio, you're pointing to it, that I have that artificial intelligence doesn't have is my attachment to being right. You know, so when you're talking about the numbers, you've got the facts and they're right, and you're saying them, then understanding them, I could see myself in that, right? Like, this is it. It's black and white. It's the truth. What are you arguing about? I'm right? Artificial intelligence doesn't do that part. And to be emotionally intelligent, as you're pointing to it, Gio, is for me to actually recognize that I am playing that game. And suspending that game for a moment doesn't make me emotionally intelligent, but it gives me access to being emotionally intelligent in that interaction. So as Chase was pointing to it, man, it's right now, it's on the stage, it's on the court, it's in the moment. And that's what makes being human so beautiful. So I do want to part, Gio, with this thought that maybe the future of AI and emotional intelligence for leaders may find a space to merge. So as technology rapidly advances, the potential for artificial intelligence to play a vital role in enhancing a leader's emotional intelligence could grow. Developments in machine learning, natural language processing, as well as neural networks are making AI day by day more sophisticated in recognizing and even mimicking human emotional responses. Well, however, though, despite all these advancements, the essence of what it is to be a human being, to be emotionally intelligent, to practice interacting with another in the moment, that profoundly human ability to connect, understand, inspire on a personal level, Gio, I claim that that still remains ours. It remains uniquely human. And I'm grateful for that.
Well, very good, Saurel. Thank you very much for creating that and sharing your last thoughts. So I'm going to wrap it up, Saurel. Yeah?
Wrap it up.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of this incredible family. Thank you for being part of the Daily Huddle. Please continue to log in the mornings at dailyhuddle.live and invite another person. This is a good habit to have. We'll see you on Monday. And remember, for the weekend, there are 8 tenets to have you live a rebel life. And we want you to live a rebel life. The first one is love. Love always, love everybody. Love those who voted differently. Love those who are going to vote differently for you. For crying out loud, just love. Love. Just love. There are some walls that are not worth building. Love. Sleep more. Sleep more. At least 8 hours, 7 hours, at least 7 hours. Make sure you give a chance for yourself to sleep more. Smile more. It helps with the wrinkles. You don't need to go get Botox. You can just smile, and it's going to help with the wrinkles. Eat more plant-based. Get closer to the trees. Hug the trees. Let the animals run. Eat more plant-based, right? Give all of it away. Give your resentment away. Give your love away. Give your jealousy away. Give everything you got. Just leave it out there. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I'm sure I missed one, but I love you. Have a phenomenal weekend.
You missed that one, Gio.
Oh, yes. Don't forget to move.
Thank you for everything.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
One love, guys. One love.
One love, Regina.
Daily Huddle family.
Hey guys,
I'm Zach,
I'm Kimberly.
and we're your hosts for Money Monday on the podcast. And we have been with the Daily Huddle now for a little over a year, and it has been transformative. It's been fantastic for us, and I hope it's been fantastic for you guys.
We are super excited to see you on our 1,000th episode. I can't believe it's been 1,000 episodes, but
See you guys there.
Thank you, everybody, for helping us get to our 1,000th episode on the Daily Huddle. We are so excited. This is Catherine Ventera from Relationships and Communications on Tuesday.
You know, when we started this journey together, built a community of strength and authenticity around us, we showed up to give, but we've received more than we ever could have imagined.
Way more.
And it's all thanks to you.
Here we are approaching the 1,000th episode of the Daily Huddle. I've laughed, I've cried in private and in public. Daily Huddle has been something that has really soothed me from the inside. It's been an amazing experience. Happy 1,000th that it's right on the way. This is something that is a necessary vibe. I love you all. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited that we are celebrating 1,000 episodes. I'm your host for Thursday Spiritual Matters, Dr. Monica Ogando. This is really an ensemble cast. It is really a joint, a village, a community effort, a community celebration. And so I want to thank you personally for being part of the Daily Huddle family. And here's to 1,000 more.
3 years, 1,000 episodes. I want you to know that none of it is possible without the pristine listening that you provide. We are celebrating you, and I cannot wait for 1,000 more episodes of us being together as family, making a difference for the world.
I can't believe it's 1,000 episodes. A big thank you for being part of my life. You gave me a new context for life, and I have to tell you, my life is richer because you have been part of it. I love you, and I'll see you later.